I'd like to speak on a Wednesday night. I said yes, definitely. I asked him what he was looking for as far as the topic, and he pretty much left it up to me. So I had a couple ideas, but I didn't settle on one until the weekend of May 17th through 19th. My friend Jacob Hendricks, who goes here, a lot of y'all know him, invited me to go on a trip to climb Guadalupe Peak, which is the tallest mountain in Texas, with him and his Boy Scout group. I was excited, and I said yes, definitely. I will go. While I was climbing the mountain, I realized that there are many parallels between climbing a mountain and journeying on the road of life. I decided on my topic then and there. How many of you climbed a mountain? All right, that's good. There's so many of y'all so that y'all can know what I'm talking about. And for the other people, I'll try to relate, show you so you'll understand better. Have you ever seen a mountain and you told yourself you're going to conquer it? You saw the beauty of it and imagined what the view must look like from the top. You told yourself you're going to do anything that it took to get to the top. Get yourself in shape, eat the right way, buy the gear you needed to, do everything in your power to achieve the success of your dream. You quickly realized by day 3 of training that it wasn't going to be as easy as you thought. In theory, this goal seemed like a sure thing. You had a plan. You knew what you needed to do in order to achieve your goal. Looking up the mountain a few days ago, you were sure that you could do this. Now that goal looked unattainable. Maybe you find yourself making excuses. You don't have enough time to prepare. You have more important things in life to worry about. You don't have enough time to train. So you tell yourself, or the group you're going with, that you'll just do it next time. So you pass it up. And you regret it. You wish you had stuck it out. And you build up enough courage to carry it through. So you wait in the valley in comfort, and ease, doing the things that please you. This parallels with how the devil wants you to be in life. Many times in life, when we are comfortable and not challenged, we grow complacent. God created in us a desire for Him. He provided many glimpses of Himself in this life to inspire our devotion and awe. These can come in the form of nature, of people acting in a Christ-like manner, in answered prayers and miracles, or in many other ways. When we see or experience these things, we are inspired, moved to follow God wholeheartedly, and that is what we do for a time. But after a while, we're apt to forget and become unmotivated. The dream and our emotions fade, and what we think of as reality sets in. We no longer see a beautiful mountain with a spectacular view at the top, but instead a difficult, rocky, unsure destination, a certain path. Oh, by the way, my dad made a slideshow. I gave him about 150 pictures to choose from, so he did a good job of picking a few, and so I'm not sure what's going to pop up here. So we make excuses and stall from the beginning of our journey. I think in life this can relate to someone who's waiting on committing themselves to the Lord in baptism, someone who is not yet fully given their heart and ambitions to the Lord, or someone unwilling to get out of their comfort zone in service to the Lord. I know I struggle with this, and I think many Christians struggle with this, share my struggle. As Christians, we can be so idealistic. We know what we have to do. We have Bible verses memorized. We go to church and we read the Bible. But do we actually step out of our comfort zone, out of our door, and live our lives like Jesus did? Do we put conditions on our walk with Him? I want to follow Jesus with my whole heart, but only if I don't have to do this. Or I will follow Him in this way, but ignore His commands in this other way. In our walk with God, it is essential that we push ourselves beyond our comfort zone in order to grow and help others grow. When I was younger, I was very unsocial, young teenager. I did not know how to talk to others and make friends. I did not get out of my comfort zone and converse with others. My parents, especially my father, saw this and encouraged me to reach out. My dad imparted the importance of making relationships. The second greatest command is to love your neighbor as yourself. And how could I do that if I didn't converse with others, my dad asked me. Well, he stumped me. So what could I do but choose to try to be more, make relationships with others. Hopefully, or as I've grown older, I've striven to reach out and be friendly and make relationships with others. Hopefully, I've blessed others as much as they've blessed me. I know reaching to others is still a growing process, but I've come a long way. I'm very thankful to my parents for all the help and encouragement they have had given to me. Eventually, we come to our senses in the valley, and we are convinced to follow God to the mountaintop. So we take the necessary steps to prepare ourselves for the journey. These verses tell us how to equip ourselves for the spiritual journey. Ephesians 6:10-18. Finally, be strong in the Lord and in his mighty power. Put on the full armor of God, so that you can take up the stand against the devil's schemes. For our struggle is not against flesh and blood, but against the rulers, against the authorities, against the powers of this dark world, and against the spiritual forces of evil in the heavenly realms. Therefore, put on the full armor of God, so that when the day of evil comes, you may be able to stand your ground. And after you have done everything to stand firm then, with the belt of truth buckled around your waist, with the breastplate of righteousness in place, and with your feet fitted with the readiness that comes from the gospel of peace. In addition to all this, take up the shield of faith, with which you can extinguish all the flaming arrows of the evil one. Take the helmet of salvation and the sword of the Spirit, which is the word of God. And pray in the Spirit on all occasions, with all kinds of prayers and requests. With this in mind, be alert and always keep on praying for all the Lord's people. We pack food and clothes to keep us warm from the cold environment, a GPS or map to guide our way, and backpack to hold everything. The food represents spiritual reinforcements such as prayer, Christian books, sermons, etc. Clothes represents Bible memorization and prayer. GPS map represents the Bible and meditation to hear God's voice. The backpack is an open heart and mind to spiritual matters. We need protection such as tents and sunscreen and other things to ensure that our bodies will not be harmed. 1 Corinthians 6:19-20 says, "Do you not know that your bodies are temples of the Holy Spirit, who is in you, whom you have received from God? You are not your own. You are bought at a price. Therefore, honor God with your bodies." The harsh sun beating down on us is like the world robbing us of our innocence and corrupting our goodness. We have to guard our bodies from things of the earth, so we are filled with the things of God. Taking the right equipment is essential to reaching the top comfortably. If we do not have them, the journey can become much more difficult, and we may become discouraged. Without these aids to help us, we are weakened and may want to quit. When my family were on vacation in Canada, we climbed a mountain called the Tower of Babel. At the base, to about halfway up the mountain, there were giant rocks that you had to climb up over to reach the peak. About halfway up these rocks, Evan accidentally dropped some water, our backpack with a good amount of our water inside it. Because it fell so far, it was going to be too much work to climb down and get it and go back up the mountain. The day was hot and soon we got thirsty. It was difficult. My mom wanted to go down the mountain, but my dad convinced her to continue on. It was a harder climb because of the shortage of water, but the view at the top was still worth the extra hardship. Items such as a map, extra clothes, etc. are important, but traveling in a group is just as important. If you forget something like I have multiple times, then the group can share with you. Traveling with a group is like a church family in life. They are there to encourage, support, and help you when you need it in life, and you can do the same thing for them. Without a group, I would never have made up numerous different mountains. I would not have had the supplies to continue, the encouragement that kept me going, and the companionship to help me see and share the enjoyable aspects of climbing a mountain. When you have a good group of encouraging friends that go through life with you, it makes that life that much more enjoyable. When I was a young boy of 7, I went to Glacier National Park in Montana with my family for summer vacation. One day we began climbing a snowfield up a glacier. As we reached the top of the glacier, I gazed over the edge of the vast snow receding below. I desired to hike down the glacier and see it closer up. The rest of my family did not want to go, but I was determined to go, so I went alone, with my parents watching from a distance. When I reached the bottom, my parents shouted to me that a group of skiers were going down the mountain. I rushed to climb to the top of the glacier again so I could see them as well. However, as I was going down, I did not notice how steep it was, and I was unable to climb back up. I began crying and calling out to my dad to help me. He told me he could not help me, but he pointed to an area that was less steep to where I could climb up to the top again. I eventually reached the top of the glacier, but by that time I had missed the skiers. Because of my stubbornness, I missed a glorious sight. I did not realize my own limitations and how small it was. So I set out alone instead of staying in the safety of the group. I wanted to fulfill my own selfish desires and missed out on something better. This often happens to us in life. We see something we think we want and we pursue it. Once we have gotten to where we wanted, we realize how hard it is to get back to where we needed to be. We realize we missed out on something greater God has planned for us. Another important aspect of life is staying on the right path, one that leads to the top of the mountain. Not one that goes off somewhere or strays here and there before going back down to the base of the mountain. Our path is going to be more dangerous than others because it goes higher and is steeper. That's what it will take for us to get to the top of the mountain. My father and I climbed the Middle Teton in Wyoming on vacation in 2009. We used the GPS my dad and I always brought bragging. We planned to be on the mountain 12 hours if all went according to plan, but we got a lot more than we bargained for. We followed our GPS up a trail to the top of Middle Teton as planned. As we got higher, my dad's IT band attended